Have you ever wondered why two people can earn the same income, live in the same neighborhood, and yet one builds wealth while the other quietly drowns in debt? It's not magic, it's not luck, and it's definitely not because one of them is working harder. It's because one has a financial compass and the other's just driving blind. Warren Buffett, one of the most disciplined financial minds in history, once said, "It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep." And it turns out, what you avoid can be just as important as what you pursue. Let's get brutally honest for a moment. Most people aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because they keep buying things they think make them look rich, instead of actually becoming rich. And what's worse, many of these purchases are celebrated, admired, and even encouraged by society. But beneath the surface, they're financial landmines, quietly exploding your net worth, one glamorous decision at a time. Let's walk through 10 of the most deceptive wealth killers most Americans fall into. And let's tear them apart, the Buffett-style. But before we dive in, if you're serious about escaping these hidden wealth traps and building real lasting wealth, drop this in the comments. I choose wisdom over wealth destroyers. When I see it, I'll give you a heart, because it means you're not just here to watch, you're here to grow. And I respect that. And hey, if you want to support the channel, just tap the like button and hit subscribe. It only takes a second, but it helps way more than you realize. Alright, you've commented, you've subscribed. Now let's jump in. Wealth killer number 1, the new car delusion. Driving your network off a cliff. Let's play a quick game. Picture yourself sitting in a brand new car. The seats are buttery soft. That new car smell hits you like perfume from heaven. You look good. You feel successful. For a moment, all is well. Now picture this, as soon as you drive off the lot, that heavenly scent costs you 15% of the car's value, instantly. In dollars, that's $6,000 evaporating the moment your tires touch real asphalt. In 5 years, that $40,000 vehicle is worth maybe $18,000. And if you financed it with interest, you're still paying like it's worth $50,000. Let me ask you something. Would you ever walk into a dealership, slap down $50,000 and say, "Give me something that'll lose half its value in 5 years"? Of course not. But we do it every single day. Warren Buffett, yes, the man worth over $100 billion, drove a used Cadillac. Not a Lambo, not a Bentley. Why? Because he understood something most don't. A car is not an investment. It's an expense dressed in chrome. The smart play. Buy used. A 2 to 3 year old vehicle with low mileage still has modern features, often still under warranty, and costs $10,000 to $15,000 less than new. And that $40,000, if you invested it in the S&P 500 instead of putting it into a depreciating vehicle, in 20 years it could grow to over $186,000. So ask yourself, is that new car smell worth trading your future financial freedom? Wealth killer number 2, timeshares, which is paradise with a pair of golden handcuffs. Imagine being pitched a dream, a beachfront property, a guaranteed vacation every year, your own slice of paradise. Now imagine the fine print, a $20,000 upfront fee, thousands in yearly maintenance whether you use it or not, and the cherry on top, when you try to sell it, no one wants it, not even for free. Timeshares sounds like a good idea until reality sets in. It's like adopting a puppy that turns into a legal pit bull. You can't get rid of it. It keeps costing you money, and it bites your wallet every single year. Let's take Robert from Miami. He paid $30,000 for a Florida timeshare. 5 years later, he tried selling it for $15,000. 0 offers. Not even a scammer wanted it. Warren Buffett avoids assets that cost more than they produce. A timeshare isn't an asset. It's a liability disguised in a Hawaiian shirt. Want vacations? Great. Book them when you want. Use Airbnb, VRBO, or a hotel. No contracts, no annual maintenance, no prison sentence. If you already own a timeshare and feel trapped, yes, there are exit services, but they're expensive. Prevention is far cheaper than escape. Ask this before signing anything long-term. Does this give me freedom, or just the illusion of ownership? Have you ever bought something just to feel successful, but later realized it was more stress than it was worth? Maybe a fancy car, a boat, or something else that sat unused while draining your wallet. Drop it in the comments below. No judgment. We've all been there. Your honesty might just help someone else rethink their next big purchase. Wealth killer number 3. Designer clothes, expensive costumes for broke actors. We live in an era where people will finance a $1,500 Louis Vuitton bag with less than $150 in it. Luxury isn't the problem. The need for luxury is that $10,000 Rolex might earn a few compliments, but it doesn't tell the time any better than a $60 Casio, and it definitely doesn't build your wealth. Warren Buffett wears simple clothes. Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt almost daily. These aren't accidents, they're conscious decisions. Their status isn't stitched onto fabric, it's built into their financial discipline. Let's break the math. That $500 designer shoe purchase, if invested in an ETF earning 8% annually, it becomes over $2,300 in 20 years. On a credit card with 18% interest, you're likely paying double over time. Want luxury? No problem. But follow the 1% rule. If that designer item costs more than 1% of your net worth, you can't afford it yet. That $2,000 bag might be okay, but only if your net worth is at least $200,000. Here is a tip. Consider resale sites like The Real or subscription services like Rent the Runway. You get the look without the long-term cost. Because being rich isn't about looking rich. It's about never needing to prove it. Wealth killer number 4. Lottery tickets. The poor man's investment plan. Here's a thought. What if I told you there was a tax designed specifically to target those with the least money? It exists. It's called the lottery. The odds of winning the Powerball is 1 in 292 million. You're literally more likely to get struck by lightning twice on your birthday. Yet Americans spend over $80 billion a year on lottery tickets. That's $400 per person annually. Money that could have gone into index funds, emergency savings, or a business idea. Sarah from Ohio realized she'd spent over $15,000 on scratch-offs and tickets over 12 years. Her biggest win? $50. We don't play the lottery because it makes sense. We play because it gives us hope. But Buffett teaches something different. Replace hope with habits. Wealth isn't built by scratching a card. It's built through boring, consistent actions. Investing in solid businesses, holding for the long term, and staying out of consumer debt. Still want the thrill? Fine. Budget a tiny fun fund for entertainment, but limit it to 1–2% of your disposable income. Or better yet, gamble on yourself. Invest in books, skills, stocks, or startups. The odds there, much better. And unlike the lottery, you don't lose the ticket, you become the prize. If you've made it this far, that means you're serious about protecting your future wealth, and that deserves some love. So go ahead and hit the like button if any of these wealth destroyers opened your eyes. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more powerful content that helps you think and build like Warren Buffett. Oh, and before we move on, tell me in the comments, which of these wealth traps have you seen the most in your life? Friends, family, or even yourself? I read every comment, and your insight might help someone else avoid a painful financial mistake. Now let's keep going. Wealth killer number 5, credit card debt, the silent killer of dreams. This one is personal. That tiny rectangle in your wallet can be either your sharpest tool or your sharpest blade. And most people, they're bleeding from it. With average interest rates nearing 20%, credit card debt turns small purchases into financial quicksand. A $5,000 balance can take 15 years to pay off with minimum payments and cost you over $10,000 in interest. Imagine buying a $600 TV and paying for it until your kid starts college. Banks aren't stupid. That minimum payment isn't kindness. It's strategy. It's designed to keep you in debt for as long as possible, while the bank profits endlessly. Dave from Boston made the mistake once, $7,000 in debt from furniture and electronics. He paid it off over 10 years, but it cost him more than $16,000. That's not just bad math. That's a wealth transfer from you to the bank. Buffett would never allow interest to compound against him, only for him. The fix: pay your balance in full every single month. No exceptions. Use tools like Mint or Tiller to track spending. Use rewards cards only if you're disciplined. Otherwise, switch to debit or cash. Already stuck in debt? Use the avalanche method. Pay off the card with the highest interest first while paying minimums on the rest. Once that's clear, move to the next one. It's slow, it's boring, and it works. Wealth isn't lost in big dramatic moments. It's bled out slowly, through daily habits, emotional decisions, and status-driven purchases. Buffett didn't build wealth by chasing trends. He built it by doing the opposite of what most people do. While others splurged, he saved. While others borrowed, he invested. While others chased excitement, he mastered patience. You don't need a six-figure income to get wealthy. You need a six-figure mindset. So ask yourself, do I want to look rich now, or be rich later? Am I spending for approval, or investing in freedom? Will my future self thank me, or resent me? Start thinking like Warren. Avoid what he avoids. Invest where he invests. And most importantly, stay out of your own way, because the biggest wealth killer of all is pretending you don't know better. Now you do. Wealth killer number 6, the college debt trap. Paying for a dream that doesn't pay back. Let's be honest, how many of us were told, go to college, get a good job, and everything will work out? Sounds familiar, right? That advice has been passed down like a family heirloom. But somewhere along the line, the economy changed, and the advice didn't. You see, a degree used to be a ticket to the middle class. Now for many, it's a one-way trip to debt city. Picture Jennifer, a bright-eyed student who majored in visual arts. She walked the graduation stage, $60,000 in debt. Her first job, $32,000 a year. After 5 years, she'd made a lot of lattes, but hadn't made a dent in her loans. In fact, she owed more than when she started. Here's the hard truth. Buffett would ask, what's the return on investment? If you're paying 6 figures for a degree that won't earn 6 figures, something's broken. Financially intelligent people treat education like any other investment. They ask questions like, will this degree increase my income significantly? Can I gain these skills another way, faster, cheaper, smarter? Warren Buffett didn't pour money into a fancy degree. He poured it into value. The good news, you don't need an Ivy League stamp to succeed. You need skills, discipline, and leverage. Certifications in IT, data analysis, or software development often cost less than $10,000 and can lead to jobs paying $60,000, $70,000, even $100,000. Community colleges, online platforms like Coursera and LinkedIn Learning, they're not glamorous, but neither is debt collection. Education is powerful, but only when it's profitable. If that point hit home, maybe you or someone you know is still paying for a degree that didn't deliver, then do me a quick favor. Tap the like button if you're ready to start making smarter financial choices. Subscribe if you want more wisdom like this, the kind Warren Buffett lives by. And drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or story. When I see it, I'll give your comment a heart, because I believe in people who are ready to learn, grow, and choose wisdom over financial regret. Let's move on. The next one's a big eye-opener. Wealth killer number 7. Boats, toys, and financial noise. The illusion of luxury. Let me ask you this. When was the last time someone posted a picture on Instagram of their brokerage account? Probably never. But a new boat? A luxury car? A vacation villa? Oh, that's all over the gram. There's a joke that says the best 2 days of a boat owner's life are the day they buy it and the day they sell it. Funny, sad, true. Mike from Tampa bought a $65,000 boat. You know how many days he used it in a year? 8. That's over $80,000 per sailing trip. When you factor in insurance, maintenance, docking, fuel and repairs. Boats, RVs, luxury cars, they don't just drain your bank account, they quietly rob your future. Buffett would say, don't confuse what looks rich with what actually builds wealth. He could buy a yacht for every day of the week, but instead, he lives simply, because he understands money works best when it works for you, not when you're constantly working for it. If you really want luxury, rent it. Want a fancy ride for the weekend? Use Turo. Want a boat for a day? There's an app for that. Want a Rolex for a wedding? Borrow it. Buy experiences, not liabilities. Wealth killer number 8. Whole life insurance. The slow bleed investment. Whole life insurance is a 2-for-1 deal, they say. Insurance and investment in one package. Sounds smart, until you realize you're paying filet mignon prices for a microwave meal. Let's break it down. A term life insurance policy for a healthy 45-year-old might cost $400 a year. That same coverage in a whole life policy is $4,000, and most of that extra money, it disappears into fees, commissions and underwhelming returns. James from Ohio paid into whole life for 8 years. He wanted to cash out. He'd put in $40,000, his investment, worth less than $30,000. Meanwhile, his agent walked away with a 5-figure commission in the first year. Buffett's advice: buy term and invest the difference. Use the cheap insurance to protect your family during the years that matter, when the kids are young or the mortgage is big, and put the savings into something real, like index funds, like your 401k, like owning a business. Insurance is for protection, not profit. Wealth killer number 9. The upgrade trap. $1,200 a year to stay stuck. Be honest. Do you really need the new iPhone, or did Apple just convince you your old one is trash? Let's play a game. Look at your current phone. Does it work? Does it take pictures? Can you text and doom scroll Twitter at 2 a.m. like the rest of us? Then why are you itching to upgrade? The tech industry has perfected one of the most destructive financial illusions: perceived obsolescence. Your device doesn't need to break, it just needs to feel outdated. Robert from Denver realized he'd spent over $14,000 on phones and gadgets in 10 years. That same amount, invested in an S&P 500 ETF, over $20,000. Buffett famously used a flip phone well into his billionaire status, because smart people don't follow fads, they follow fundamentals. Financially savvy people upgrade only when they must. They fix what they can. They buy last year's model at 40% off. They choose function over fashion. Remember, companies spend billions to make you feel broke, but real wealth comes from using money intentionally, not emotionally. Before we get into this last point, I want you to pause for just a second. You've made it this far, which tells me something about you. You're not just here to watch a video. You're here because deep down, you know there's more for you. More peace, more freedom, more wisdom, more legacy. So if this is hitting you, not just in your mind but in your heart, I want you to type this in the comments. I'm building wealth that lasts. When I see it, I'll give your comment a heart. Not just because I appreciate it, but because I believe in what you're becoming. Now take a breath. This next point might be the most emotional one of all, because it's wrapped in love, celebration, and often financial pain. Let's talk about it. Wealth killer number 10, lavish weddings. One day, a lifetime of regret. Weddings are beautiful, but do they really need to be bank-breaking? The average American wedding now costs over $30,000. That's not a celebration. That's a down payment on 20 years of stress. Magazines, Instagram, bridal shows, they sell a dream, a once-in-a-lifetime fairy tale. But what they're really selling is debt. Couples spend more on the day than on the marriage itself. That's like buying a car and never learning to drive. Jennifer and Michael from Boston had a modest $5,000 wedding. The remaining $25,000, they used it as a down payment on their first home. 5 years later, that home has doubled in value. The wedding, still beautiful, just not financially traumatic. Studies show couples who spend less on their weddings are actually more likely to stay together. Why? Maybe because they started with shared values instead of shared credit card statements. Financially wise couples don't skip the celebration, they redefine it. A backyard reception, digital invites, non-traditional venues, a potluck dinner with family, memories over materialism. Here's a rule of thumb: if you have to finance the wedding, you're not ready for the wedding. Most people are chasing the image of wealth, cars, gadgets, degrees, parties. But Buffett built real wealth by doing the opposite. He lived below his means, invested in what made sense, and avoided the traps everyone else fell into. And that's the truth. The path to wealth isn't paved with upgrades, overindulgence, or emotional purchases. It's built on clarity, discipline, and sometimes saying no to what everyone else says yes to. So let me ask you, which of these wealth destroyers has been quietly stealing from your future? Drop a comment like, "I'm guilty of number 7, or I ditched number 10 and never looked back." Remember, your future net worth is quietly compounding, whether you're growing it or giving it away. Make the right moves today. Your 65-year-old self will thank you. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, if even one of these wealth destroyers made you stop and think, then do something small but powerful. Comment, "No more wasted wealth," below. When I see it, I'll give your comment a heart, because it tells me you're done letting your future slip away unnoticed. And I believe in people who are ready to choose wisdom over regret. If you're ready to keep growing, learning, and building the mindset that creates lasting freedom, like this video to let us know you're with us. Subscribe to the channel for more life-changing insight. Turn on the bell so you never miss what could be the one idea that changes everything. This isn't just another video. This is a wake-up call, a shift, a turning point. Because real wealth, it's not flashy, it's not loud, and it's never accidental. It's built quietly, intentionally, one wise decision at a time. Thank you for spending this time with us. We create this for you, the future millionaires, the legacy builders, the ones choosing to think differently. Until next time, stay wise, stay intentional, and remember, true wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. Now go build it. We appreciate you.